yesterday, The Athletic put out a piece about Rocky, super mascot for the Denver Nuggets, and his son, who is the Pistons mascot, Hooper. Now, the lead was buried in this, so I'm gonna talk about it how it unfolded.
Mm-hmm.
So the article was by James L. Edwards III, who is the Pistons beat writer for The Athletic, and Nick Kosmider, the great Nuggets beat writer. So it's been a few years that Rocky and his son, because they did not mention their names, they came up with fake names for them for this story. So we're just going to refer to them as basically Rocky and his son. Have been in the league together. Rocky's son was the Cleveland Cavaliers mascot for a couple of years, and then he became the Pistons mascot. So he's jumped from a lesser mascot position in Cleveland to the Detroit mascot position.
I didn't even know the Cavaliers had a mascot. It's like a dude, isn't it? It's a dude with a funny hat.
No, it's still, I think it's a mountain lion maybe. Hold on, let's pull it up. Yeah, I guess they've switched it. So it was, I think he was Moondog. They've had a lot. They have Sir Cece, who is the guy you're thinking about, Moondog, and Whammer. And I can't remember if he was Moondog or Whammer.
Yeah, that's more journalism done on the Cleveland Cavaliers mascot than ever. So, that's a really cool fact.
Yeah, and so they think they're the first and only father-son duo in the NBA.
It can't be confirmed because of the secrecy of the team mascot
we don't know.
world.
Apparently, all mascots know each other, but we don't know the mascots. Was basically what this.
Those are probably some cool parties.
Yeah. So basically, Rocky's son grew up in the Nuggets organization. Rocky was a mascot in college. Really loved being a mascot, and in high school. And he got an internship at the Denver Post here in the late '80s, and went to the Nuggets and was like, "I want to be the mascot." And so he auditioned for them, and they're like, "Okay." He became the first mascot for the Denver Nuggets. Finished up his college, and then in December of that year, debuted as super mascot Rocky, and has been the mascot for the last 30 years.
That's also a trip to me. I found this out a little while ago, but it's been the same dude.
It has.
I always thought that you'd have to have a couple people coming through, that you may have different Rockies at different...
Well, and Rocky at one point broke his back by doing one of his flip moves, and he just was gone for a while he recovered from that. He had the moment where he passed out. I don't know what that's called. Rappelling. That's what it's called. Rappelling down from the...
Turn that into an event itself.
No, rappelling down from the rafters of Pepsi Center. I mean, Rocky has meant so much, and at the end of the article, they said that Rocky is retiring at the end of the season. He is going to be replaced by another son, and so they will be the first brother duo that we know of in the NBA.
Wow.
But really, really shocked. We've actually talked about this before. To me, the Nuggets had to retire Rocky as a mascot unless his son could replace him. But a different son is now replacing him.
What's the different son's credentials?
We don't know because he's a secret. He was not mentioned in the article other than this guy had 3 sons, and the sons basically treated the Pepsi Center like their own playground.
I hope that their identities are like they are an ageless Romanian traveling circus, and that this is just one chapter in like the 1,000-year history of this family's acrobatic, magical. There's a whole movie somewhere in there.
That somehow supports Republican conventions.
Dude, I found it a long time ago. There is a video existing in the world of Super Mascot Rocky at a gun range, just firing a giant gun, and it was amazing. It was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And then I posted on Nuggets Reddit, and they're like, "This isn't cool. We don't want kids playing with guns." I was like, "But it's 2 cool things merged into one."
My favorite personal mascot Rocky memory was one year they had a scavenger hunt around downtown to get season tickets, and I entered. I made the top 25. And Rocky decided that he wanted to do an in-the-air hip bump with me. So he set me up and showed me what to do, all miming, so we could do a hip bump in midair. So that was my favorite Rocky moment.
That's what I've seen Rocky a handful of times. One in the locker room when I had a season tickets, and that was super cool. But every time I'm like, "Rocky!" then he just looks at me weird, and it's weird because his face doesn't move, but you can tell when you're being judged regardless. And then he just does the if he points at other people, it's like, "This guy's drunk." I was like, "I'm not drunk. I'm just excited to see you." it is weird thinking that with his retirement that it's kind of the end of an era, but the fact that you don't know the there's going to be so many fans who have no idea
No, they're
that
gonna
any
think
of
it's
this.
the same guy.
Yeah. So does he get a send off?
I don't know. I guess we'll see. Maybe they'll do like he comes and then his son comes in Rocky and they like switch places.
2 Rockies?
Yeah,
Okay.
2 Rockies at the same time.
I hope they make it like very dramatic theater, like he gets killed off.
I kind of want to go to the last game now, which I didn't think I'd want to go to because of playoffs.
Yeah.
But I guess he'll still be in the playoffs. But
True.
if they have a send off for Rocky, he deserves it. He was the only reason to go for years.
Mhm.
He's far and away the best mascot I've ever seen. Like you can talk about other people, but the things that he does, he trained as a mime in high school, learned from this article, and that's why he's so good at the physical comedy.
Oh.
Also, the backwards half-court shot was something he developed. Someone on the Nuggets was like, "You can make it going forwards. Why don't you make it backwards?" And so they like made a wager. And his son also does the backwards half-court shot. And at one point, they were doing the backwards half-court shot. Him in Denver, his son in Mexico City for the Mexico City game at the same time, which is pretty cool.
That's magical.
So, really great article. Good job to Cosmider and Edwards. You wanted to talk about some of your other favorite mascots around town. Really make this a full mask segment.
well, last thing, I just hope that his son is like 6'5", so then Rocky just shows up next year like there's something different, but I'm not sure what. Rocky, Super Mascot Rocky is far and away the best mascot, almost in all of sports, but definitely in the Denverse. But I think it's important to give a shout out to all of the mascots who do such hard, thankless work. Starting with, I think, Dinger, which is the most interesting mascot to pair with a team. Dinger, the purple triceratops of the Colorado Rockies, in which you get, the team's nickname is the Rockies. Like, not super creative, but we'll take it. Derek, how the hell did we get a triceratops to represent the team?
So, when they were excavating Coors Field, the ground there, they found Triceratops bones at the site of Coors Field. And so they decided that was the moment they were going to create a dinosaur mascot, who then was birthed out of an egg live on the field for everyone to see. For some reason, no one thought through this whole thing, and they were like, our colors are going to be purple. We're going to have a purple dinosaur as a mascot. And somehow that's going to make everyone think that Barney is the mascot of the Rockies.
Oh, right. Because Barney had 2 Triceratops friends.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I think a sister, maybe.
Yeah, okay.
So that bad comparison from the start. Someone actually said the Philly Fanatic got an upgrade. He's a little fuzzier, I think a little darker. It looks basically the same to me. But someone was like, how would you upgrade Dinger 2.0? And I was like, this is the upgraded Dinger. His like rainbow sprinkles used to be crazier, and he used to be a lighter shade of purple, which was worse. Like it used to be worse than it is now.
What did he look like? Like a bootleg Chuck E. Cheese? Like we're going to Dinger's Pizza Place.
So yeah, if you ever are on, I've seen 2 Dingers, and I don't know which one is the original Dinger. There is a stuffed Dinger. If you're on the side of, if you're at the main part of Coors Field and you look up at the offices, there's a Dinger up there. And there's also a Dinger on club level. I do not know which stuffed Dinger is the original, but I do think the original Dinger still exists as a prop in Coors Field.
That's kind of creepy. Well, going back to our earlier furry conversation, it just feels weird that they would keep the original shell of Dinger in the same area.
I wonder if they have a mascot taxidermist who's like, okay, we need to stuff this.
Yeah, right. I mean, I'm sure it's not super stiff without the person inside of it. But me personally, I would rank Dinger second to Rocky. Because, like a lot of baseball mascots, they'll go out there, they'll dance on top of the dugout. But just for the lore of Dinger, I think that is what hedges it out over anyone else. What was your next?
The story of Dinger is far more impressive than seeing Dinger in person.
I grew up loving dinosaurs. I wanted to be a paleontologist. I get psyched every time I see Dinger walking around.
Chip, the CU stuffed mascot is my second favorite. They
Mm.
usually have 6 to 7 guys a year who are Chip. He's fun, energetic. He just won Mascot of the Year for the 3rd time this year.
Really?
National Mascot of the Year, and they have national mascot competitions. I love Chip. I mean, Ralphie is. If you're just gonna say all mascots, Ralphie is up there with Rocky. Is just like iconic.
Mm-hmm.
They're still searching for a new Ralphie. We don't know if there's gonna be a new Ralphie by the spring game. They're running out of time. They've got like a month and a half left. From what I've heard, it's been really hard to get a new Ralphie. One of them hates crowds, and one of them loves crowds too much. Of the Buffaloes in consideration, so we don't know how this is gonna play out.
How does one know that Buffalo likes crowds?
I guess they just like brought some people. They're like, okay, we're gonna try this. 20 people. What's gonna happen?
And they're just like went on loving on them and
Yeah.
huh.
So yeah, Chip is my second if you can bring in the college people.
Yeah, sure, of course.
But I think this is such a hard. I don't like any of the other like of the main 4. Miles is not really even a mascot. The Broncos horse, like it's just like a personification of the real horse.
Miles does things, doesn't he?
Like during the game,
No, he doesn't.
he shoots T-shirts, I think, and he does come because my friend got to have a party with the Broncos for an away game. Miles did show up, I believe, to the party
To the party.
with some cheerleaders.
Hey,
So
that's
he's
cool.
mainly just like I think the cheerleaders handler.
Well, that's. I'm sure that's not necessarily in the contract, but the ultimate functions of his job, sure. But he's like the more badass.
He
one.
looks cool.
He's like just got lines, and I think he's got the muscles.
Yeah.
But yeah, he doesn't do much.
No.
He doesn't wow the people the same way that Chip and Rocky do.
So Bernie, the Avs mascot, he's a Saint Bernard because Saint Bernards save people from avalanches. So he's saving people from the avalanche. Weird concept if you think about it.
Yeah,
too much.
that's. Yeah, you forced me to think about it more than I wanted to.
He has the thing on the front that's like a barrel.
Uh-huh.
That has something to do with avalanches, and if I'd cared, I would have looked up what it
Oh,
was.
there's whiskey in there. Because like if you're buried in an avalanche, get a little bit of whiskey to warm you up.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. So he's got the whiskey barrel. His really only function is meet the kids, and he does actually make pretty funny videos. Have you seen the Avs video where they call dog walkers to come and walk Bernie?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's one of the better. The Avs actually have pretty good in-game entertainment as far as like bringing in people like Bernie.
Mm.
So I guess for me, he's second out of 4 if you're not going to bring in everybody else.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think he has to get points because he's on skates a lot of the time.
Yeah, he does skate. He does his slide into off the ice at the end of the 3 stars.
Mm.
So, yeah, Bernie, I guess, is growing on me. I loved Howler, the really mean mascot the Avs had at the late 2000s, who actually got into an altercation with a fan and then was fired, or they just fired the whole mascot. It fit with the Avs foot logo that they have replaced now with the Colorado Sea.
Mm-hmm.
I actually was a mascot for a day one time when I was the Cutthroats announcer. I got to be Gil, the scary Gila monster fish for the Denver Cutthroats up in Vail. It was negative 12 degrees, and I was hot. And I could not imagine how bad it was for the person that had to do it full time. So mascot heads have a fan inside of them.
Really?
But the fan was broken. So it did not work for Gil. It was like everything else with minor league hockey. So that's a mascot I miss. We talked about... Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, what were you doing as Gil?
I was about the same build as Gil at the time.
Sure.
They just needed anybody, and they're like, well, Derek doesn't have anything to do until game time. Let's just put him out there for a while.
Oh, but were you skating?
No, I was walking around Vail. I actually enjoyed scaring people a lot. People do not like when mascots come up behind them.
No, I'm just take a quick look at Howler, the Avalanche mascot. Yeah, he definitely would whoop someone's butt. That is...
He was scary, and he was mean. I remember one time he sat on my brother, who was like 8.
Dude, no mascots talk, right?
No, I don't think so.
Wow, that might be the most, strongest integrity or principle in sports. Like, mascots don't talk.
Yeah.
That is, well, so you got, Rocky is the runaway number 1. Then 2 is Dinger for me. 2 is
Bernie. If
Bernie
we're not
for-
going to bring Chip in.
for not bringing
Yeah.
Chip. Well, we'll give you Chip. So you
Yeah.
got 3, Rocky, Chip, Bernie. Then I'm going to shout out Wooly, the Colorado Mammoths lacrosse team, their mascot.
I have talked to Wooly before. One time I was in the press elevator, and Wooly walked in, and he had his hands full. He was trying to get everything. And he was like, oh, this is going so badly. Like, I think he felt like he was in the press elevator, and he dropped it all when we got off the elevator. It was like, just like, oh, no.
Was that a bit
No, he was really having a bad day.
Wait, so sometimes as a mascot, you have to have more responsibility than just being the mascot?
I think especially for the Mammoth. And from what I've heard, and I don't know if this was true at the time, Wooly and Bernie are the same person.
Wow.
So
Well, that's a decent
I felt
check.
bad for him. It was between games, so it was fine that he was talking. Like, everyone around there was just in the press, but it was pretty nuts.
Oh, what? Oh man, I'm so sad. Well, I don't know if that makes me like him less. Like, I have to rank him lower because he can't handle the demands of the job. But also, you shouldn't make the mascot have to carry things.
I know.
That seems cruel. But I just really, we were doing a 12-year-olds battling out their favorite superheroes. Wooly would wreck any of the other mascots.
He has a lot
in
of
a
weight.
1v1, yeah.
And before Chip was who he was today, Ralphie, they had, I don't know if they called it Chip or Ralphie, they had a much bigger stuffed mascot, and it was not good. And I've always thought that Dinger has lost some weight over the years. I can't confirm it. But-
He was a paunchy fella for a while, for sure. Well, that's my top 3. But
Do you want to talk about, you said Rapid Man as a favorite mascot.
okay, yeah. So the Colorado Rapids from 96 to 2007, so a solid decade of just joy and wonderment. Their mascot was aptly named Rapid Man, which was an anthropomorphic wave. He looked like Captain Planet with just like white frosted tips, which is the Rapid, and cool guy 90s sunglasses. And I remember going to a game a long time ago, I think, at the football stadium, and Rapid Man was doing the absolute best white dad hip hop dancing that I've ever seen. And it was a moment where it was like, I was still young enough to like not be sure if mascots were actually just regular people inside or if there's like some elite group of humans who just take on this profession. But the guy was working. I think he knew, especially for the like 2003 audience who was watching the game, that no one really cared about soccer and didn't find soccer that interesting.
Was it a fireworks game?
Yeah, it was definitely fireworks. You think
That was the only time I went either.
you think my mom paid for these tickets? No, I think we won it at my summer camp. But the dude was working. He was putting on a show. And so I only hope they retired Rapid Man, that whoever was inside that very odd human-esque costume, that he went on to do great things, because dude could have had his own show. No one cared about the Rapids. I couldn't tell you a single player on the team. I couldn't tell you the score. Whoop-de-whoop. Rapid Man, thank you for your service.
Do you think that sort of like when cops get put on traffic duty, if you get put on Chick-fil-A cow, that's when your career is really bottomed out as a mascot?
Definitely. Chick-fil-A cow doesn't get any of the same respect that the upper echelon guys do. Chick-fil-A cow looks down on the Liberty Tax Solutions
Sign
Lady
waiver.
Liberty. Yeah, that person, but they get no clout in the game, that's for sure.
Well, thanks for everything, Rocky. We hope you get a send-off.
Yes, sir. Yeah, thank you for 20-some-odd years of doing this.
Well, that will do it for this week on the Denverse. I'm Derek.
And I'm Quinn.
See you soon.
Peace.